What's up, y'all? Today we've got Alexis Torres,
NERDSoul,
Late Ill Kid at OneYoungsta, holding it down, bringing that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today, we're here for Rare Air. We're talking about stuff that we rarely get to talk about, things that we normally don't get to bring up on other stuff. And I've got a wonderful woman right here. Before we get started, Alexis Torres, where can they find you?
You guys can find me all over social media at atorres890. That's ATORRES890. And that's on every platform: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook,
All
YouTube,
that good stuff.
all that good stuff.
Snapchats.
Yeah, I don't really use that often, but it's there.
It's there. It's there. You made sure you put your
Mostly
flag
just going to
down.
be dog videos. I don't know if you're cool
man.
with that.
So with Rare Air, we bring someone on, see what they're going to talk about. So today, what do you have? What are we talking about today? What's on your mind? What do you want to rap about?
I guess we could talk about music since, of course, we have this beautiful person behind me. I guess music that I'm listening to right now. I think it's funny because a lot of people ask, like, when you meet someone new, they're like, what music are you into?
What are
you listening to now? And I'm like, ooh, that's a hard question. That's a loaded question because it depends on my mood. If I'm like really angry, it's like hardcore rap or hip hop or metal. It's usually one of those. And then if it's like, I'm in a chill vibe, it's very like super smooth electronica or anything like that. And then of course, since Michael does a show with me already, I usually talk about a lot of Asian pop, period. But I think the one thing I don't really get to really express to people that much is definitely musicals and things like that. I used to do a show back in the day that was called Broadway Breakdown, where we took Broadway shows and we broke them down for you. And it was really, really cool. But I feel like a lot of people, it's either like, musicals are like, nah, that's not my scene, or like, oh my god, I love musicals, I'm obsessed, I've seen like 800 of them, and I'm like, okay.
See, I'm like in the middle.
Yeah, I was like, I need to find someone who's in the middle who's like, I like some things, but I don't watch all of them.
Yeah,
whatever.
Like I do like musicals, but some of them kind of get to me every now and then.
Yeah,
but there are some that I'm like, it's dope. Like, I saw Chicago. Like my wife showed me Chicago. I was like, oh, it's kind of dope.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I can't. It's not Bad Boys 2.
No, I mean,
but I mean,
nothing's ever Bad Boys 2 in any way, shape, and form. Unless they make that into a musical, I will give them all of my money.
I kind of want to know what that's like.
Right? Just to see what it looks like. I really just want to see them. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. We'll do it another time. But yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that's literally my happy medium when it comes to anything that has to do with media, because the fact that I love music and singing, but I also love a good story that kind of plays out kind of like a movie. I feel like it does.
So it gives like a
both.
narrative flow to it, and then the music, which is such a large part of film in general. Crazy bugs or something.
We out here.
We out here in bug-infested streets.
Anyway, continue.
For the music, what are you listening to in your car right now? Like when you came up here, what did you have in the car? Like what are you listening to this second?
Okay, so you know how if you're watching this now or years later and you're like,
in the future,
what the heck was 2018? What is it? July 2018. What's happening? So I saw on social media that there's like a challenge, like a Drake challenge or something, that people are doing this dance that this guy did to one of his songs. Now everyone's doing the same thing. And so I was like, okay, I want to hear this Drake song just because I've been seeing this challenge.
What's the fuss about?
So I was listening to that on the way here, and then like halfway through I kind of got bored and I was like, I'm going to go back to my Korean hip hop because I feel like that's a little better in my eyes. Sorry. I'm just kidding. I do like Drake though. Like I do
Korean
like his
hip hop
stuff.
1, Drake 0.
Obviously it's completely different. But no. But like I was listening to it and I just felt like there was some parts of the song that I really liked, and it's mostly just like when Drake really like sings on his songs. I think those are, maybe it's just because that's just how my preference is. I like the way he sings. So I'd rather listen to that, but then when it starts getting into like some like now type of hip hop where it's just a lot of sound effects and a lot of blah 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 blah, like, and I'm like nah. So
it's like I'm cool.
So like it's hard for me sometimes to listen to stuff like that, where it's like really nice like R&B kind of tones, and then all of a sudden it's just like just random ass sound effects, and I'm like, Right, now you just took me out of the song, and then we're back
Lambo.
to smooth. So yeah.
Lambo.
And I'm like, okay, or you've like said your name like 8 different times throughout the song.
Like Drake.
Yeah.
Drake.
Yeah.
Like,
and you're like, okay. But like, I still like the song. I think it's really, really fun. It's a really fun dance track. Definitely a good twerk track on certain parts. But I actually have a video to send you later. But But yeah, I feel like musicals is just another great way of storytelling. As you know, we both love TV, we love movies, you know, and I feel like if you can do that same thing but on a live stage with music and then like changing the stage at the same time, like that's kind of insane to me how much production goes into something.
Well, and how much planning goes in to make sure nobody hits someone else. Or
I mean, sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens, and I'm just like, oh my god, what is happening? But at the same time, it's just really cool to see a team work together and have to do these crazy costume changes and stuff like that. So I always like, I'm always sitting there like trying to find like what's the new musical out and what's this and this and this, and then Hamilton completely changed the entire spectrum of musicals for the fact that he was like, I'm gonna do a hip hop musical about Alexander Hamilton. Like that doesn't, like if you heard that, like someone's like, hey, I want to do this, and they're like,
you'd be like if you got the pitch, you'd be like, nah, I'm cool.
Nah, I don't think that's gonna work.
Like there's still some parts of me that I'm like, I'm alright. Like, cause I haven't seen it. My wife has seen the show. I haven't seen it.
It's beautiful.
But I'll be honest, like when I hear it, cause there's people that are like, yo man, it's so good. Yeah. And I'm just like, I'm alright.
I mean, it's hard, I feel like, you know, the fact that if you are a person who listens to a lot of hip hop, that it might not be your speed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he did take, what's the word? I guess he took inspiration from hip hop songs into the things. Because if you listen to it, you'll hear certain things, and he's talked about
you're like,
it too.
oh, this is kind of like reminiscent of this and all that.
There was one where it's called Helpless, and he pretty much made it after an Ashanti Ja Rule kind of melody where like he's the one rapping, and then you have the girl who's
Ashanti
like,
Ja Rule days was there were some nice days.
Those were my jams. That was it.
Ja Rule was singing, boy.
Ja Rule.
You know what? He was kind of at the forefront of that.
Or just growling through everything.
Nah, he was singing, man. He was like, my baby, my lady.
Yeah, so he's growling.
No, that's a baritone.
As a person who's been in choir since they were 5, that ain't no baritone.
My
that is
baby.
growling through lines. So,
that would be very interesting to see that, like in choir.
I mean,
I love the Lord.
I mean, I think it depends on the church, but like, yeah, because I think you can get away with that. But I feel like if you're in like a very like not Southern Baptist, but like a certain part of Baptist, or like
it'd be like, nah, this
like
isn't that
Christian,
happening.
like super Christian place, like.
Like this ain't the flavor we looking for.
No, they'd be like, oh no, you've got the devil in your voice. Nah, it's too sexy. Get out.
Nah, get out of here. Now, all right, as far as musicals, what are some stuff that people should check out besides like Hamilton?
Well, that would definitely be one. I feel like it depends on your taste because there's so many different genres, just like music, where it depends on what you want, and also because of the fact that it also depends on like the subject matter, because obviously there's a lot of like very Disney related musicals. So you've got Lion King, you've got
Disney been holding down musicals for a minute.
That's fine, make your money, because those productions are like up there because they have that Disney, but you know that money. Money. Just bringing that back.
Yo, man.
But yeah, and I feel like, you know, Lion King is always just a really great production because of the fact that they take traditional, they take the Disney feel, but they also add a lot of different African beats and
cool.
sounds and things like that, and I love that about that. And also the costuming is very, very well put together.
Because I've seen
lion costume.
I've seen some shots from like actual stage, and I'm like, wow, this is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, like I mean, I do feel bad sometimes for like the male actors, because instead of you being in like a plushie or a onesie, you're like bare chested with like. That's fine.
I for the ladies,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
Might be like, all right,
I'll give you that. You know, like, get some baby oil on it.
Oh god, you're supposed to be a lion. Like this is weird. But I like that. I like that it's like you can still see the actor's face, but they have the lion mask above them. I think that's really cool.
Word.
I love musicals that have more of a meaning, so more of a subject matter. So I like, I know a lot of people don't like Rent. I like it just because of the fact that it brings nostalgia to me, but also brings...
I remember seeing the movie, and I was like...
That was a bad idea.
Well, see, I saw the movie because I was like, at the time, I was a big Rosario Dawson fan. Not saying that I'm not now.
Yo, did you see the movie though? Because she had that wonderful scene where she was.
I peeped that. I peeped that.
Hashtag don't tell my wife.
Hashtag don't tell my wife. I peeped that.
Yeah.
But yes, I saw it, and I was just like, it's not maybe not my speed.
No. I like it just because
But
of
it
the
was-
subject matter and also
yeah.
the fact that it's like a rock musical, so that's usually my flair since my genres range from, again, rock to hip hop a lot.
Okay,
and then
okay.
like, you know, so I like that. But I think the classics are always a fun one. I love Phantom of the Opera for what the theatrics are. It's insane how they like flood the stage for the boat scenes and like do all the it's just it's crazy. And they have like an interactive moment where like they're like, oh no, the chandelier, and you see it, and they have like the actual chandelier in the middle of the, because what happens is when you start the play, there's a chandelier on the stage, and it looks broken and awful and all this kind of stuff, and it's like it's not lit, and it's not the phrase lit like actually like illuminated.
It's not lit.
Yeah.
That chandelier ain't lit.
Because like I had to explain that
Yeah,
to somebody
it's
because
mad
I was
funny.
like, oh man, because you know the lights weren't lit, and they're like, it's not cool, huh? And I was like, no,
No, I mean
this generation's ruining our vocabulary.
They're
Stop it.
actually not lit.
Like the
as
light
in
is not
the-
illuminating.
Yeah. It's, no one turned the
Illuminated.
electricity on.
And so it starts out on the stage, and then when the music starts, and we're like, okay, now we're going back in time. The organ starts, dun, 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 and so the lights turn on, and it raises above the audience.
Oh, sweet.
And so it's like pretending like it's put all together and it's coming up. So then halfway through, I think either Act 1, I think, is where they end it, and then they go into Act 2. The chandelier is supposed to fall, and the Phantom like goes, oh, you know, look at your chandelier, you know, because you're supposed to be afraid. And then you see it drop a little bit, and everyone's like, ah! And then it cuts to black, or like not black, but like
yeah, but
you know,
all the lights turn on.
And I was like, whoa, like that's
sweet.
so crazy.
That's pretty sweet. That's pretty
you know,
sweet.
so I like that, even though sure that might not be like specifically music wise because it's opera, so it's going to
But
be
it's
a
part
lot
of the theatrics
yeah,
that
and
go
that's
into
the
the
whole
field.
point. Yeah, all for playing. So like I like that. So I like that. Hamilton. Wicked is also a really fun one. Wicked is about seeing it from the story of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Okay.
Instead of, you know, from Dorothy's perspective.
perspective.
So you get to see how she became the way she was. So I thought it's based off a book. That's also really, really cool. Trying to think of others. There's this one tiny play that not a lot of people know about, and it's called Next to Normal. And that one deals with the fact of a mother who's bipolar but also has depression. And she and she's pretty much trying to deal with everyday life. And at one point she's like, you know, I hate taking this medication because it makes me feel awful. So she just stops taking it, and that's pretty much what the rest of the play feels like, because then she starts, you know, going through like triggers and having, you know, panic attacks and other things. And she, I don't want to ruin it just in case if you do want to go see it or listen to it or anything like that. But
that's pretty deep.
Yeah, it's
deep,
like,
pretty
you know, it deals with like suicide and things like that. It's like very extremely adult things, but at the same time, I like that they can incorporate that into a musical, and you're like, oh, you know. And of course, like there's the other ones like Les Miserables, which is like the ultimate classic. Everybody knows what Les Miserables is.
I actually haven't seen it. I know what it is, but I've never seen it.
So Les Miserables is pretty much just the French Revolution, and kind of going through that. I mean, not like the big one. There's like smaller factions that were happening in France at the time. So this is just talking about one specific part of France, and you pretty much just get to deal with these characters who are all in different walks of life, going through this revolution. So you have like the main character guy who went to jail for stealing bread for his sister because they were poor and hungry, but they're like, no, you stole, so you need to go to jail.
You took a loaf of bread, so we're going to put you in jail for 18 years.
Yeah,
it's like,
pretty
it's
much.
one loaf of bread, man.
Literally, that's exactly what it was.
Like,
I think he was in there for like 12
bread.
years. Like, he was like a child, and then he's like a grown-ass man now. And there's his counterpart, who's like the antagonist, who's like, you know, I'm about the law, and you broke it, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on you, because he finally was able to be free. But obviously, he's like obsessed with like justice, not Batman style, but very close.
But it's always that like self-righteous character that's like a little too justice.
Just a little bit too much. Like you were like, I'm just gonna do a little sprinkle, then the entire thing falls in. Like that's one of those.
It's kind of like you unscrew it and nobody knows. And like, I'll take a dab of salt and squirt it.
Oh. Well, I guess there's too much justice in the soup today. But yeah.
I guess I had to make more soup and try to even this out.
So yeah, so at one point, he not escapes on parole, but he's supposed to be on parole, and then you kind of like forget about him because he kind of runs away and stuff like that. So years later, he has a kid, and he doesn't have a kid. He like adopts a kid and all this kind of stuff. And that same guy was like, there was a guy who didn't report for his parole who kind of looks like you.
Oh,
and he's
boy.
like, I don't know what you mean. And it gets like really dramatic from there. And then, so yeah, so it kind of like all stems around him, like people who were in his life. So you get to know more about that. It's very like uplifting and
Cool,
you know,
cool.
stuff like that. I'm trying to think of all of them because I watch a lot of musicals. That's a lot what I
All right, now
listen to.
do you prefer the theatrical versions or the film versions? Because see, I've only seen film versions.
Okay, so
See, all I
I'm
see
glad we're
is
finally
movie
having
versions.
this discussion because nobody ever asked me this question. So I feel bad because movie versions, I always love to see them because the fact that I would love to see how you can incorporate something that's on stage into a movie because you can do more things with it. So
Because you don't have to do like the set changes and stuff.
Yeah.
You can just edit it and do whatever you need.
I think the person who's probably the best at doing musical movies, I feel, is the person who did Chicago. I think his name is Rob Marshall, I think is his name. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel bad because he tried to get out of that spectrum of like doing musical movies. He did the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie, World's End, I think. And you're like, ooh. That was not good.
Still made money, but
still made Disney money, but I was like,
I mean, it made that Disney money.
No.
I mean, honestly, how much are you gonna do with a movie based on a ride, man?
I mean, true.
I mean, and there had already been 2 installments before him.
I'm just glad that he put Penelope Cruz in there. That's all I really care about. But yeah, so he did the movie Chicago. He did 9. Which is also a musical. It's a very old musical back, I think, in the 70s.
Okay.
And then did it, you know, with Penelope Cruz, Marion Court. I don't know how to say her name because it's French. Who else? Fergie, Nicole Kidman.
Fergie.
Oh yeah, Fergie was in it. This is before
Fergie.
she hit that weird phase of trying to be just like funny with her songs. I guess.
Before making the like weird kind of like sexualization song, and then also doing the National Anthem, which is
she was
she did it like jazz lounge singer kind of version.
That's not what you do to the anyway.
She's like, and the Rockets.
It makes me cringe. I'm like, ugh.
And I was like, yo, I don't even really care about this song like that, but dang, you suck.
Oh my God, it just hurts my soul. But she did that, and she was really great. I mean, I feel bad because like, I don't know if she has a name. I believe she does in the musical, but I don't remember it because they don't say it in the movie. But she plays like, because it's supposed to be in Italy.
Okay.
And it's about a director who's hitting that weird point of he's at a midlife crisis, but at the same time he's also trying to make a good movie. So he's struggling with the fact that it's why it's called 9, because he's 50, but his mind is just hitting 10, is what he calls it.
Okay.
So he always says that he's always battling with himself the fact that he's about to be past the age of 50, but at the same time he also feels like a kid at heart, so he can't really choose what he wants.
Okay.
And also he's a womanizer, so that's why there's so many beautiful women in this movie, is because of the fact that he cannot keep it together. He has a beautiful wife who supports him through all of his movies, but then he's also cheating on her.
Very interesting how you're like, in your movie you got mad dimes in it. But I guess if they were to make, the NERDSoul movie, they make my movie.
Fergie,
I cast
Penelope Cruz. Again, I can't remember her name. Marion Cotillier? I don't know.
Yeah,
but you know who I'm talking about.
Marion Cotillard?
Yeah, there you go, Cotillard.
Yeah.
See, I can't do today.
Cotillier.
I haven't had my coffee yet.
know what her name is.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. She's a beautiful French woman. That's an actress. I said Nicole Kidman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sophia Loren, who's a huge, European actress who's like coveted for her beauty. I mean, she still is beautiful now, but she plays his mother. There's one more woman. Why can't I remember her frickin' name? Oh, the girl who plays M, the woman who plays M in
Judy Dench?
Yeah, Judy Dench.
Right,
I mean,
cool.
he wasn't. That was like a friend of his. It wasn't like they were sleeping together.
Yo, but don't sleep on Judy Dench
No,
back in the day.
no.
Look at them old. Look at them old photos.
I was
Judy
like,
Dench was like, what?
Whoa, Judy Dench.
Like,
Lady Judy Dench.
Right.
I was like, all right, girl.
I give you props.
Okay. But anyway,
slides.
so like that roster, and then it was Daniel Day-Lewis played that character. It was a crazy roster of people. So if you're not into that, you're kind of there was another actress, not Katie Holmes. She's blonde, and I can't remember her name. Damn it. Anyway, so she was another high up there. thing. But yeah, so he did those 2 movies, and those musical movies are beautiful because he goes into like, it looks like a film and then jumps into like that whole like you're on the stage, has different costume change. If you notice that in the Chicago movie where it was like when Renee Zellweger was like talking to someone and all of a sudden you jump into her mind and now she's on a stage with like an outfit and going through a song. I like that better than having it like Into the Woods where it's just people in a woods singing. You know what I mean? But I also can't talk because I also love Bollywood films where
People
they pretty much
in the
do
woods
that
sing.
all the time.
Yo, on the sneak, Bollywood has like the craziest yet strangely unique. Like, I've seen some clips on Facebook where I'm like, hold up, so this dude shot everybody with 1 bullet?
Yeah, it went all the way around.
and then he has a dance scene.
Oh yeah.
He's like, yo, shoot everybody. But let's not forget the music.
Hey, you can't. Not in Bollywood films. I mean, I have one where, like, there's a Bollywood film that I saw that I love. I can't remember specifically what the name is, but I know if I saw a poster, I'd know what it is. It's where this lady who's supposed to be taking care of a magician who hurt himself during one of his acts. And so he can't use his body from the neck down.
Dang.
So I think it was an escape. It was like an escape trick, and I think he hit like the back of his neck, and then so she's his caretaker, and it's supposed to be a dramatic movie, but they have little moments where they start singing. So it's always like, it's so strange that you go for something super dramatic, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're in a music setting now.
It's like,
okay.
I want something to drink.
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
what?
oh, okay.
Like, where did that
come from? But that's fine because I feel like it's a talent for you to be able to tell a story.
Yeah.
By singing. That's a lot.
Right.
If you can't even already do that as acting-wise, you're not going to be able to do it singing.
Question.
Yeah.
You like Psych.
I love Psych.
I like Psych.
Oh, you're talking about the musical episode?
The Psych musical. How do you feel about it?
Okay, so it was a little rough for me.
Because there was a lot of hype around it. And then when we got it,
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was like,
yeah.
See, that's the other problem. When TV shows are like, we're going to do a musical episode.
What about the Flash musical?
I did
I
like
think
that.
I think that was fresh.
But you also have to remember, most of those people that are in that TV show have been in musicals before. Literally a majority of them.
So I guess it made sense.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, this is a good episode.
Because the guy who plays, I was going to say Bart, Wally's dad,
Papa Flash.
Yeah, Papa Flash. Yeah, Papa Flash. He's a huge Broadway star.
Oh, what?
He was in the original Rent back in the 90s.
I just know him from, he was on Law and Order like a long time ago.
Sorry, son, say hi.
He was on Law and Order like a long time ago. That's what I know from.
He went from doing Broadway and then went into acting.
Like
TV acting, and so that's why a lot of people thought it was funny because he's in the Rent movie. If you remember, he was pretty much wearing the same exact beanie and everything. But so it's a lot. I remember during interviews when that movie came out, people were like, "Oh, it's so weird to see you smile because in Law and Order you never smile, but in this movie you're smiling the entire time." So, because that's just how his character plays. And so the fact that he now is in The Flash and he was singing, I was like, oh, it brings back memories because I remember I have the CD of you singing back in 92 or 1990 doing Rent. Oh man, his songs are so good.
See, I know him from Law and Order, and I remember being like, all right, so see, Flash is after he transferred from New York. All right? He transferred from New York, went to Citrus City.
Yeah.
And then he had a family.
Yeah. Well, no, even the guy who plays the Flash Grant, he was in Glee and sang a lot of songs.
Wow.
I know my stuff, guys. I know what I'm doing.
See, she knows what she's doing.
But either way, it's just that was a little bit different because they were actually trained. A lot of them are, and so they were able to get through those kind of things. And then now.
Yep. See, told you, man. Music. On an episode about musicals.
Yeah.
I bring you things. Listen.
It's just I think because music plays such a big role for people, I think people don't realize that. I mean, unless you like really don't listen to music, if you're like more of like a talk radio kind of person or whatever, I can understand why you'd be like,
bumping that NPR, son.
And there's nothing wrong with
bumping
that.
Bumping that NPR on 10.
I can't do that because the fact that I need something that like. Because I feel like music can move your mood in any way, shape, and form. Whether it's like, I think that's the one thing that people never understood. They're like, Alexis, how can you listen to something it's not in English? Like, it doesn't make, like, how would you be able to understand the song? I'm like, if it's a good song, it doesn't matter what it is. They could be speaking in tongues, but if it's a good beat, you know that you're
get
gonna have that
good
little
beat,
toe
you like-
tap.
like-
You know, you might have a little head bob. Doesn't matter. They could be
Like,
saying the worst things, and you'd be like,
there's
damn,
a
this song's
song
actually kind of catchy.
I was listening to recently from Cowboy Bebop, Real Folk Blues.
Yeah.
So I was listening to that, and somebody
That's in
came into my
Japanese, isn't it?
Yeah, someone
Yeah.
came into my office and they're like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's Real Folk Blues from Cowboy Bebop." I say it like they're supposed to know.
Yeah, right. You always feel bad because you're like, oh, it's this, and you're like,
Oh, it's this.
oh,
And
you
I'm
don't
like,
know what I'm talking
oh, yeah.
about. It's from this.
only one of the best animes ever.
Yep.
It's like
We were just telling
Akira,
somebody to
Ninja
watch
Scroll,
that.
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's Ghost in the Shell. There's nothing Ghost in the Shell made that's ever been whack. There's like, you know, there's like certain things that you got to hit. But like, and Ghost in the Shell got dope music too.
It does.
Like,
yeah.
tons of dope music. But like, Real Folk Blues is just one of those joints
It's just so nice
that
to
I
listen
really
to.
like.
Yeah.
And then like stuff from the movie is real dope too. But I was listening to that, and I mean, I don't understand the words except
doesn't
Real Folk
matter.
Blues.
Yeah.
But I know about the blues.
Yeah, and yeah,
Sorry.
especially because it's supposed to make you feel something. Like, someone was actually talking to me, since I'm noticing a lot more people in my life are starting to listen to K-pop, which I think is hilarious to me, because they're like, oh, it's because of you. I'm listening to it now, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I'm glad that that's something that you're doing. I'm trying to like not be like, as like, oh my God, listen to this. So I'm mostly
You
just
gotta
like,
listen to this now.
It's more along the lines of like, oh, this is what I'm listening to. If you want to listen to it, you should. If you're not, whatever. But I had a friend yesterday who never listens to like anything that's not English. Like it's like strictly like a specific genre. I can't remember. I think it's just pop for him. But he came up to me and goes, hey, there was a video that he was watching on Twitter it was like an anime that was edited. Not an anime. It was a scene from something, and they had this song called The Truth Untold by BTS underneath it. And he was like, man, that song made me feel really sad. And I was like, did you listen to the whole song? He's like, yeah, I looked it up because I was like, whoa, it made me feel something. And he's like, I didn't understand a word of it, but the way that, because
You got the emotion though.
yeah, because and the funny thing is it's a feature by Steve Aoki, which you're like, a ballad with a feature with
He trying to show that that
he
range.
did it. Like he did
Trying
it.
to
He did
show
that
that
range.
range.
And the thing is, the song is actually really sad. It's about
He's
a
like, I can make
breakup.
you dance, I can make you cry.
I mean, I literally could talk to any, well, maybe it's just mostly females, but like anybody I know who's listened to the song, they can feel the sadness through the song. But it's also crazy because when you read it, it goes BTS featuring Steve Aoki. You're like, what?
Like, oh, it must be a pop song. You just like
Yeah.
assume.
And it
oh,
does
it's a
it.
club
It starts
track.
off with piano, and it's like da na 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 na, da na 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 na.
Really?
Da na 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 na. Ooh, like it's very slow, and you're like, wait.
You're like, oh, it must be about to drop.
Yeah.
And then like,
it doesn't
like
do that until
2 minutes in, you're like, oh, it must be about to drop. Like 3 minutes
it
is like,
does.
it's about to drop in a
It does.
second.
It drops at one point, but it's a very chill beat.
Oh, okay.
But it's only for like the last measure. That's it.
Wow.
And then it goes back into the piano, and you're like, what did I just listen to? But like, he
Cool.
told me, he's like, I would never listen to this, but this song made me like, he's like, I didn't tear up, but I felt like I was like, you know, like I was like, whoa. Hey, that was weird. I was having a good day. And all
Go
of a sudden,
BTS. You know BTS cool with me because y'all rose from the, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Y'all
from the
came from the
nothingness.
gutter. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Y'all
man.
started from the bottom.
And
you
now
know what
you're
I'm
here.
saying? And now
Look
you're
at
here.
that. Making it all like, we talked about Drake in the beginning.
And now we're back to K-pop. Right back.
Right around the
We started Drake, went around the musicals,
man.
stopped by Hamilton and
Did you
Rent,
see-
and then came right back
Did you
to
see that
K-pop.
John Cena, because the fact that BTS is getting a lot of death threats, that John Cena's like, I'll totally be a bodyguard for you guys because he's a huge
Yo.
fan.
What is BTS doing that regards that requires a death threat?
No, I mean,
what are they
it's
doing?
gotten to the
They're
point.
not doing anything. I mean, they're
They're
making
just
songs,
living.
but
They're breathing and they're living.
yeah, but I mean, you think I could see if they were like people that like political activists or you know people that were
No,
I don't know
it's just
something.
People,
They're just making
it's people
music.
who want attention, but also want to.
Wow.
They also want. There's people. I don't know. There's a lot of really crazy people in this world, and I feel like.
Because you think like, you know, oh, you're getting death threats, you must be like, you know, outspoken, you know, social commentary
I mean,
or
they have some
something.
social commentary, but not enough for them to get.
Yeah, but they don't strike. Yeah, they don't strike me as like these guys are like out there like fight the power, but just like a Korean version.
I
You know what I
mean-
mean? You don't see me. I don't see them as that. Yo, that would be BTS next album, full revolutionary album. This
I
is
mean,
full.
they had like a little one, but not like enough for it to be like, oh, let's take down like Korean politics. It was more along the lines of like talking about adults who tell kids not to follow their dream because, you know, they're kids.
Yo, straight up, parents kill more dreams. All right, the people
adults kill more dreams than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Parents kill more dreams, then probably like elementary and middle school teachers kill dreams, and then after that they're kind of done.
It's just a life. It's just life.
Yeah. There's just life after that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think my favorite thing was from one of the rappers from BTS, where he's like, you know, if you have a dream, you know, go for it. Even if you don't, that's fine too. But don't let anybody tell you different.
Yeah.
And I was
don't let the story be that like my uncle told me that I wasn't good enough for something.
I mean, you saw the video I sent you. Like a lot of them, like told them like, oh, this is a bad career for you. You shouldn't do this. Like you're never gonna make any money. You know, blah 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 blah. They're the top group in the world, not just like their country, not just our country, like the entire universe.
Yo,
like,
that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
But that's because they didn't let nobody take them down.
Oh, it's so funny.
That's right. They can't take their pride, and no one can hold them down.
And it's not just BTS. There's a lot more groups now that are starting to make their stride because not because BTS paved the way for them, but I feel like it
helped open some doors.
Just a little bit, just some doors. Not all of them, because these other groups made their name before BTS, or they've worked hard too. But I feel like because the fact that BTS is doing well in certain parts of countries,
people will start looking out. And they'll start saying like, "Oh, I like BTS. Well, who else?"
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And they'll kind of look. And then of course, you know, they have stuff like Spotify or like Amazon. They'll be like, "People also liked," you know what I'm saying? And they'll like open you up. Oh,
plane. Gotta love this. Gotta love it. You know, it's what
game
happens.
off. Oh, that's Southwest. Those ain't your people. They ain't Spirit. You know, Spirit. Woo.
Why do we always have to bring this up?
Yeah, I love that Spirit.
Somewhere.
I love that Spirit. Yeah, that Spirit.
Hey, at least Spirit won't be beating up people inside of their planes like United. So.
Yo, United will beat you up and then pretend like it's your fault that you got
beat up. So at least I would rather have to pay for my bag than just be hassled by like a very thirsty individual than have to deal with that. I'm good, fam. I'm good. Yeah. Like, I really just want to give him a water bottle and be like, yo, here you go.
Here you go. You're going to need about a gallon of this, but this will start you off.
This will start you off. And then just continue doing 8 glasses a day, my friend. 8 glasses
Straight
a day.
8 glasses a day.
But anyway, so I feel like it's kind of the same. To me, it's kind of the same because of the fact that as a person who is Asian, I feel like listening to this kind of stuff reminds me of home, but at the same time, it's just something different. And I think that's what musicals do for me, is the fact that it goes from something that maybe not everyone listens to, but when you do find that one musical or that one band or whatever the hell you want to call it, it could change your life just a little bit, or open you up to more things and really that maybe you would never do. You know? Yeah.
Cool.
It's just I think it's awesome. So I feel like again, another person who a lot of people probably thought was like kind of weird, but then fell in love with his music. I feel like it's kind of the same thing. That people just need to
tons of like Prince just all right, we'll leave on this. What do you think about Purple Rain? Like
the song or the album?
The album, song.
Just all of it.
Everything.
The movie was a bit strange for me.
Really?
But I still watched it and I still like it. I felt like I was watching 2 different movies. You know what I mean? Where it was like dramatic but also like a concert.
It's like concert intercut, but it's like there's something about it where it's like it just grabs you.
Oh no!
It's like if it's on,
I'm gonna watch
right now. You're like, let me watch.
I'll watch it a little bit. Yeah, I was like,
I'll watch it.
I'll stop what I'm doing just to watch Purple Rain.
Because it's like
it usually shows on like TNT and like stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Because it'll like masquerade. It's like a musical kind of masquerading as a movie, sort of.
Yeah, and that's why I like it, because the fact that, I mean, there's a lot of movies that are kind of like that, but I feel like Purple Rain does that really well, where you follow a story, but there's also just random music throughout, and it's fine because it's Prince. So,
it's like it's Prince, so you're like, all right.
Yeah, I love the movie, I love the album, I love the song Purple Rain, and the funny thing is my mom was the one that got me into Prince, because at first, I didn't really know where my music was at, because I was only listening to what people told me, so I didn't know how to find my own, which is technically how music works, is by suggestion.
At first you start, you're kind of like just listen to what your parents listen to, then kind of like what your friends listen to, then the radio, and then you kind of find your own taste somewhere.
Yeah, man, I was just talking with somebody, because speaking of Purple Rain, is like the fact that like, my brothers were like, so wait, how are you able to listen to music if you didn't have it on your phone? I went, my friend, it depends on what era you're talking about. Ooh. Are you talking about like 80s? Are you talking about like when I was a kid? Like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, okay, for you specifically. I know mom had cassette tapes. I'm like, well, not just cassette tapes. Like, they were like those big ass 8-track. Like,
you had 8-track. You had 8-track, you had cassettes, you had your regular radio.
Yeah.
Like there's tons of ways that we listen
I told
to
him, I said, remember that? I was like, remember this? There was a thing that I had. It was, you can still get it now, but I don't think anyone uses it for this. But it was a plastic thing where you pulled out a drawer. It was like a plastic drawer.
Oh yeah, and it
you
had all the
CDs.
tapes. Like you had tapes
Yeah.
or CDs, and they were all
that was
in
what
there.
I had, and I said that's what I did. And what I had was because my brothers knew that I had to walk to school and home. At a certain point, they're like, "What did you do? Did you walk in silence?" And I'm like, "No,
I had my little Walkman.
Yeah, I was like, I had a CD Walkman or a regular Walkman, and I would have my pocket or my jacket pocket.
Had the skip protection. Yo.
And I was like, yeah, that's what I did, because there were times where I'd be walking and all of a sudden it would skip a song. I'm like, no, because you can't because if you hit back, it's just gonna start the song over and you can't fast forward.
Yeah, so it's like they had that. I remember Sony came out with this like huge yellow like skip protection joint.
So
it was like this big. It was like but you put your disc in there, you know, drop the top on it, hit play.
But yeah, they were wondering, and then they're like, well, what if you didn't want to listen to that CD and you wanted to change it? I'm like, well,
you take it out.
And you put, no, but they thought that I would have to bring that entire thing with me. I'm like, no, I brought like 3 CDs that I knew that I wanted to listen to.
Yeah,
and if I was like, okay, I'll stop here. It's a stoplight. I'm gonna stop here, reach into my backpack, take out my that binder that you had, little tiny binder.
All right, so you got like, for kids that are watching, just like this book. I imagine.
But there's little ones too, like they were like this big.
There were this little boxes.
Little travel ones, but yeah, you have the really big one.
Had like the book, and you're like, ah.
And you hear that little.
It's like if you watch Harry Potter, you know that big old book. You like open it, but it's number CDs in there.
Yeah,
like,
just think of that. It's heavy. Yeah.
You're like,
I have that for DVDs because I'm like, I don't want to have the cases anymore, so I have it in like this big of a thing. But yeah, and so I was like, no, I brought 3 CDs with me. Sometimes it would be just the cases, like their CD cases in my bag. Obviously, I have to be careful because they were plastic, so they would break if you weren't careful with your backpack.
CD cases be breaking like it ain't nothing.
Oh my God, it was the worst thing because I'm like, great, now there's like a sharp, I have like a shank inside of my backpack now. So then you had to go into those like vinyl, not vinyl, but like those like Velcro-y like things. But yeah, I would take those out at a stoplight, take out the CD, put it in its case, put that back in, close it up, hit that play button, and go.
I thought I was the bomb because I had a 6-disc changer.
Oh my God.
In the trunk. All right.
Man, I forgot they used to do that in cars.
Yo, I had a 6-disc changer in the
deal.
trunk. You couldn't tell me nothing. That plus the system, I was done, man.
I can't, like, it's so funny.
And then you put like disc 2.
Yeah, because
disc 3.
Because when you were in a car, you didn't have an aux port. Like that's not how it was working.
Yeah.
So what you had to do is like, okay, well I don't want to listen to just one CD, so you'd have to put in 6 CDs. It would store it somewhere, and then you just kind of go through what you want. My mom, I think I felt bad for my mom because of the fact that all 3 of us kids had different music tastes, including herself. So she would have to be like, okay, Alex will have the All American Rejects, album. I'm gonna have my Lauryn Hill. My brothers were very into the 80s, obviously, because of the fact that my dad was showing the music. So there was like Duran Duran, Billy Idol, like that kind of stuff. And we had like Boyz II Men in there, and then like some random like Fall Out Boy or Pink or something like that, NSYNC somewhere back there. And then obviously as years went on, instead of NSYNC, it became Jonas Brothers, and then like kind of went from there. We always had at least one Prince album, at least in our car, at least one. It was usually Purple Rain, but or like the Greatest Hits or something like that.
Yo, all right, check it. Old boy bumping something, but he don't look like the dude that would be bumping this though. He don't look like the type of dude, and he's an old cat that got the cigarette hanging.
Oh, but it's not even like completely in his mouth, it's just kind of hanging.
My granddad used to do that. All right, my granddad can tell you a whole story. With cigarette leaning like right here.
It
would never fall. It would never fall.
Yeah.
It would never fall. I don't even think he was smoking. Like the cigarette just burned itself.
I mean, that's what most people did. Hey,
the cigarette just burned itself. He
like
wasn't like even puffing. It was like the cigarette was just sitting here.
Well, you might as well just get a pipe after that, like one of those like old timey pipes.
But that's stuff.
I think that a lot of people find my music taste extremely open is the best word, because I'll listen to anything. I have some Bollywood songs on my phone. I have a few Disney songs. I have a lot of like hardcore metal, hardcore like NWA like rap on my stuff. And then K-pop and things like that. And then there's just the regular stuff, so a lot of alternative rock and then of course I have one that's like 500 songs and it's all musicals and it's a playlist. Yeah.
Okay, I'm a big album guy, so before we bounce, recommend one album that you really like to the viewers. One album that you think is really good. It doesn't have to be the best album, just one that you're like, hey, I think you guys should check this out. I'll start. I'll give you guys one.
Okay, I'm like, it's gonna take me a minute.
An album that I think you guys should check out that a lot of people know, but it kind of gets slept on a little bit in this person's discography. And I'll say, and I know we got Prince right here. We've already talked about Purple Rain. Michael Jackson, Off the Wall.
Damn it, that was the one I was gonna say.
Because Thriller is so big,
dang it.
People forget about Off the Wall. Or don't sleep on Bad either.
I think Bad. I think that's I'll suggest that one. I think you should listen to both.
Yeah, Off the Wall
Bad,
and Bad.
for sure.
Great
There's
stuff.
Really good stuff.
Yeah. It's a great way to end it. You got Mike, you got Prince. You know what I'm saying? You got musicals. Got old dudes with cigarettes. You know?
I know I've been listening to a lot of Whitney Houston recently because of the fact that movie's supposed to be coming out about her. So I was listening to her greatest hits and I was like, gosh, she has a lot of good songs.
Talk about someone who had the voice and the pop appeal. Because
I'm
going to keep it real. There's a lot of pop singers that ain't got the range.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah, it's weird. Mariah Carey used to have the range, and then it just like, I don't know, did she, like, I don't know. It just,
no, she just thinks her voice is the same, and she doesn't realize that age can affect
I wish
that.
my wife was here to imitate Mariah Carey, because she does it so well.
Yeah, my friend Elena does it really well, too.
I'm going to try to do it.
No, don't
here's
do
how she
it.
does.
Oh, I love how you do. Okay, good for you.
She always does.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's
So
it, y'all. Off the Wall, Bad. You should definitely check it out. We're gonna get out of here, but before we get out of here, Alexis, where can the wonderful people find you?
You can find me listening to weird ass music at atorres890. That's ATORRES 890. I highly recommend one more thing. Since we were talking about musicals, I want to recommend a musical album that Michael hasn't listened to it yet, but I definitely think you should listen to Hamilton. It's a lot, but I think that's something you should definitely listen to.
Okay.
Just because of the fact that it's not extremely musically. It's very hip hop, but also pop and a lot of different things, and also some ballads in there that do make it sound like a musical. But I definitely think that would be the best one to listen to for sure. That you can understand. As
musicals go, instead of the album, I'll go to the movie. Sound of Music. Just watch it. It's been a while. It's been a while since you've seen it. I know it's been a while since you've seen it. Go watch it.
I actually just did that.
It's been a while. Go and watch it again.
Yeah,
there's something about it. And then after that, watch Little Shop of Horrors, and then you'll be cool.
Yo, I actually played one of those. One of the girls. The Little Shop.
Oh yeah, Gina and Pam.
Yeah.
From Martin.
Yeah. I was one of them during one of the school plays. Yeah. It was good times. It was fun.
So yeah, you guys can find me, NERDSoul. That's right, NERDSoul. Everywhere. Just search me up. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you don't thumbs up, make sure you thumbs down and say, I hate y'all. And then I'll be like, yo, I hate you too, but stay real. Anyway, before we bounce, so from us to you saying, peace.